It's your girl, baby. It's the mule. What the fuck I be? I ain't taking no motherfucking licks, and I ain't taking no shit. You heard me? You wonder why? What's good, y'all? But guess what? Who the fuck gonna take responsibility for this shit today? This shit today, y'all. Today, today, Jay Prince did an epic stream. Taz joined him. All this shit going down in this space. You know, all this shit. Wow, what's good, Deacon Dave? What's good, Daryl? Daryl Long, Everything Everyday Podcast. Wow, what's good, my boy? You know what? I got something to talk to you about. Damn. Wow, what's good, Sister Coach and Malik in the building? Listen, let me put my can y'all hear me? But anyway, girl, oh Koja, what happened? From when? God damn. Girl, you can't even go to sleep no more. So much shit happened. God damn. I took a few days off, Koja, and this shit go. Wow, what's good, sis?
Hey, what's up, you? Can you
What's
hear
good,
me?
honey? Yes.
Can you hear me? Welcome back.
Thank you, girl. I got palm bombs on my
What I
last stream.
missed?
I
Oh,
talked
what I
about you,
missed?
Darren Long, on my last stream, and they palm bombed me.
Hey, Daryl.
Girl, I got palm bombed, Coach.
Was this? Was it a good poem bomb, or was it one like, man, you waste my time with this?
Girl, they waste my time with that shit.
Ooh, well, what happened today? I missed it. I ain't been, work in the field with my YouTube
Okay,
life.
girl. So today, I clicked on. It was a replay. I replayed. I'm replay gang lately, but
Mm-hmm.
Jay Prince for president went live, and he was talking about the Lucky situation, right?
Oh,
Um, I don't know if you might not know it because I don't
who
know
is
who
lucky?
Lucky is either.
Neither.
Lucky is somebody who Daryl Long used to fool with. I don't really know the lady though. But anyway, she must be in from their sector. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, she went on Fatty's show and they basically dragged her ass or something. So she did a show about calling Fatty a pedophile. So Jay Prince reviewed it because he was on the show that she reviewed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Taz went up there, girl.
Oh,
And
Lord.
I'm just like, y'all would be so angry with a guy who made a horrible joke or statement about a kid, but y'all not so angry with a guy who said he'll fuck your kid. You so angry about somebody teasing making a joke or a horrible joke about a fucking handicapped child, but you're not upset. It's like me making fun of, like some people make fun of the man Nightish. Even though we know that man can walk, they'll say he in a wheelchair. The nigga ain't in a
No,
wheelchair,
I
right?
didn't know this was in a
But you'll get
wheelchair.
upset about somebody saying something about a handicapped person, a child in a wheelchair. But you're not upset about somebody fucking children. And all these women that we know, Kosha, that say they've been fucked since the age of 3 and 5 and 6.
Girl,
They have and this
uh,
is the thing I say about this space. This new space we done joined in with. These men have so much great, and the women, oh my God. The same women who would cry and say they was touched as kids is weird. That
no,
they
it's not weird because you know why?
But they
Because a
support
lot of
these men who support
they
the
don't.
idea that they should be fucked.
That's the problem. A lot of
Wait,
people
let,
who
let
were
me just get
victims.
my thoughts out fully, Coach. I'm gonna let you go, but
Go
this is
ahead.
what I came up here to see. I was brought up, y'all. I know y'all know my family's from East Africa, my on my father's side. And I was brought up in Islam, right? Not the black Muslims, but the actual Muslims, and it was more Arabs in that mosque. It wasn't American Muslims, right? And I tell everybody by the time I hit third grade, I knew everything they was teaching me was a fucking lie. They told me that the boys was naturally smarter than girls, but when I'm at school, boys copying off of my spelling test, boys copying off of this, right? And they don't, so by the time I hit fifth grade, I didn't even want to go to the mosque no more. But I'm gonna tell you what triggered it at fifth grade. When I learned that the prophet fucking Muhammad married a 6-year-old. After his wife died, after Khadijah died, before she died, he never took another wife, and she was older than him and had been married, and he was the original stepdaddy. You hear me? Prophet Muhammad, she was a rich woman. He was a pauper. But after she died, this nigga married multiple women. Not even women, honestly. He was marrying kids.
Well,
And
did
the
he die or
youngest,
was it a
the
suspicious death? Is the question.
he married a girl that was 6 years old, Isha. And I will tell you this. I was in the fifth grade and that shit turned my stomach. They said on a honeymoon night they played with baby dolls. And I had to get out of that shit. And this is why I do not trust anybody who claim their religion, men or women. I do not trust them. Because if your morality could stand by worshiping the Prophet Muhammad, even though he did some good things for women and did some good things for humanity, I don't trust you as a person. And
Wow.
we have to start calling shit what it is. And I'm not trying to offend Muslims. I'm just saying I wouldn't trust your ass. I don't trust certain people because your morals have to be completely fucked up to think that's okay just because it's
Mhm.
your religion. If a child could see through it, motherfucker, you a grown adult and you don't see through it, something questionable about you.
Mm,
I'm sorry. Now go
you
ahead, Coach. I'm
know,
sorry.
I don't rock with religion like that. Like that, I have told you, I don't. It's not that I don't trust religion. It's not that I don't trust the Bible, the Quran, or the Torah. It's I don't trust the motherfucking men that edited those books because in those books, even though I haven't read them extensively, what comes out of those books is a justification for every atrocity. We know what wrong is, but we'll go use those books to justify doing things that we know are innately wrong. And that's why I don't like a lot of organized religion. I do have a relationship with God.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
I
have
have
a
a relationship
relationship
with God
with
because I don't
religion.
believe He is the.
And I
I don't
told
believe He
people,
upholds this shit, and I
I
do think a
told
lot of
people,
these doctrines are
the
man made,
only,
right? But listen, Kosha, when you telling me you follow a doctrine that tell you it's okay for a 40-something-year-old man to marry a 6-year-old child, and then you want to play like the Muslims are good people. Fuck you. And anybody who tell me
I
that,
said it.
I look at them side-eyed like, you are
I
sick
said it on
motherfuckers.
so many panels. Because one thing I know, it's certain things I believe in. I say it consistently. The only thing that keeps them from having child brides here in the U.S. is the law, because you will see multiple men that we probably respect or say are halfway decent with child brides. And I say it all the time, but they call me crazy, or whatever, and laugh at me. I'm the old lady from the South. But that's the only thing. We would see the true nature of men in the United States if it wasn't for the law. And some of these men that sit up on these panels and everything and these things making the comments, I know in my gut some of them would still have those child brides and they will use her up. And I question if the lady died of natural causes, who he got his wife's, he probably inherited his wife's stuff, but he probably killed her, because we know these men's hearts are cold.
No, he didn't
So
kill her, but that's the reason what they have over in
I
Iraq.
mean,
They have the
you say his
Sunnis
original
and
wife
the,
died
yeah, but that's
and
the
he
reason
married the
why
6 year
because
old.
they believe that he left the inheritance to his wife's son. The whatever, because he basically raised them because they was kids when their dad died, right?
Hmm.
And so that's the fight right now between the two sects of Muslims, right? Oh,
Wow.
Fatty say he hoped that we get to the show as early as possible. That shit just popped up.
No, I hear things that make me really. I hear things on these panels, listening to
What are
these
you
people
talking
that
about? You need to pray, Koja. Let me tell you something, Deacon Dave. Come on up, because guess what? It's open. But guess what?
talk out. It's they
I
put. Ain't
want to
somebody
hear
say,
you explain to me how this shit that Jay Prince was talking about today. Coach, I guess you didn't catch it, but if anybody who caught it, explain to me how that shit sounded. Would you fuck a 12-year-old if it was legal? And Fatty said, absolutely. Absolutely.
mm-hmm. And Deacon Dave, don't everybody need to pray? Don't everybody need to pray, Deacon Dave?
Then what
Because
what
I
MC
don't.
Hammer said, we need to pray. Pray, we need to pray
But
just to make it today.
offering, not being truthful about what's taking place in them churches is because men created the religious text. Because women wasn't allowed to write back then and be up and stuff. Here they don't want us in the pulpit now, unless you the church usher and you cleaning and cooking for the church and the pastor. But I'm true about y'all nature and the nature of men. You women didn't create this bullshit. Women are forced to live under it. And
Amen.
that's why you saw all these men going the passport brothers, because they couldn't pick up their girlfriends from the middle school no more and get them pregnant without legal repercussions. And we see the American men going over there, not just to mess with women, to mess with children, teenagers that look mature. So we're gonna talk about your religion. We're gonna talk about how y'all been graping all up and down the church and the this and that, the church, the mosque, the synagogue, the Catholic church, the diocese, and all of that.
That's why I said
That
you
is
need to
not.
pray, because you started sounding like the cat lady. You
I
sound
don't
like
care.
somebody who live in
I
fear,
don't give a fuck
and
if so what I sound
that's
like the
what you
goddamn
sound
cat
like,
lady.
though.
I ain't no goddamn cat lady. I'm a fucking tree lady. Get the shit right. I'm the tree fucking lady, the tree hugger.
Hey, but your base
Wait,
premise
hold
is
on,
that
Deacon
men just
Dave.
can't wait to
Kosher is
fuck a
a
child.
farmer,
They can't wait
baby.
to do nothing.
Kosher
And
is
y'all
Farmer
can't, cause
Brown
I'm
in this
one of them
motherfucker.
children that got
That's
off
right.
the
My
bus.
baby is a farmer. She got buku plants, buku vegetables she growing.
I couldn't get off the bus at 5 years old without the bus driver telling me, "Hey, little girl, basically you stay here and I'm gonna let everybody off," and asking him to give me a kiss. But my mama had taught me enough at 5 years old that she met his ass at the fucking bus stop the next day. But
Oh
he
wow,
continued to
wow.
drive buses for 20 to 30 years. And I know he done got
It's
him a
every
whole bunch of girls.
it's always the extreme. Like you don't.
That ain't extreme. Oh, so you
It's
want to talk about my
extreme, and
stepdaddy? You want to talk
when
about
he
the
was
police
5.
officer? You want to talk about the police officers? Come on, let's talk about it. We want to talk about the school teachers that was fucking the students. Let's talk about them. That was picking up their girlfriends from the high school. You want to talk about my mama generation who the man ended up marrying one of his students, but we don't talk about it today. But we know what it was back then. She was one of his students back in the day. But we ain't gonna talk about that because they old now. So which part you want to talk about these men, Deacon Dave? And how when
I
they
don't
in
want to talk about these
religion,
men. I want to
we're
pray
gonna
for your
talk about the
mind. I come here.
Mormons. We're gonna talk about the Mormons and how they were fucking all the young girls and the little
I
girls
just
up
wanted to
in
come
there.
up here and pray for your mind. I
Uh,
think we should
you
close
don't
our
gotta
eyes
pray
and
for
bow
my
our
mind
heads.
because my eyes are clear.
I'm a deacon. I'm just here to help.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Say,
I'm here to help. I think
say
we
your
should
prayer.
close our
Say your
eyes.
prayer.
Lord Jesus, we come gathered in your name to ask that you put a veil of love, and that you change our minds and our hearts to see that not everything
Lord, don't
around
you
us is here
change
to
my
kill us
heart.
and take us.
Don't you put no veil over my eyes. You give me the ability to see
I
the
said
truth.
over our hearts. God bless you.
Don't put it over
Amen.
my heart. Don't put it over my eyes. Make my heart pure. So I do not
Make it pure.
engage in
Yes,
this
Lord. Yes,
insanity, and
Lord.
I do not worship the creation as opposed to the creator. I do not take the interpretation of man as opposed to my one-on-one relationship with you. I ask you to strengthen me, Lord, that I don't make myself weak for these two-legged males that think they were made in the image of what they say that man was made in the image of God, but I don't think it was the physical image. I think it was a metaphor for wanting to be worshipped like God because God wants to worship and so does man. So God, please keep my eyes unveiled and my heart unveiled to experience the truth. In Jesus' name, amen, I pray.
Yeah, nothing like praying to God with two people. Two is better than one. One can chase 1,000. Two can chase
But we
10,000.
ain't touching and agreeing on that bullshit what you were talking about just now.
Oh, man, I'm on my way to work, man. I'm just having fun.
Oh, you ain't going to church this lovely Sunday morning? Got me starting off my Sunday morning with all this cussing, but God know my heart and He know my intentions, and He is not worried about few homonyms, synonyms, and stuff. So He all right. Hello.
Yeah, I'm
You up
here.
here?
I spoke to my mom yesterday. She was sounding a lot like you, and I was just pointing out a few things. And I don't know what it is about y'all generation, but y'all listen to a lot of people before you, and you
Cause
form
we
your narrative
edit
off
the
of that.
bullshit out. When you get, my dear said that when you get old enough, you learn to edit the bullshit out.
Yeah,
Because
you
I was
can
born in a
do that way.
generation where
You could
you could
have
call me
that.
the feminist generation. Because I
Yeah, but
did come up
you
in
could
that.
have that skewed view of a lot of things. I mean, none of this would probably happen to you personally. You
What
can
happened to me?
adapt somebody else's view of like what they went through, and you guys personalize
You mean
everything.
that thing called empathy that men
Yeah,
lack?
empathy,
That basic
empathy.
thing called empathy. That's why you don't see anything wrong because God didn't make me the leader. But in order to
No,
be a
we
good
understand it.
leader, in order to be a good king and all of that in the church, you should have some fucking empathy. How
Yeah,
can you not?
we understand it. We just don't have a lot of
No, you
time
understanding it and practicing is
sort it
not.
out for you. That's like a big rubber.
Understanding and practicing is two different things. We can have knowledge. The acquisition of knowledge is nothing if you cannot apply it and use it in your life. So understanding and knowing some shit don't mean shit.
You have a lot of time. It would take a long time for somebody to walk you down that mountain.
Baby, you ain't finna walk me down that mountain because I
Oh,
ain't
no,
going with you.
no. I would never try to.
And I
But
won't.
you can see it.
Wait, let me
You can
ask
see
y'all
how far
something.
you need to go.
Wait,
Like when
hold
you
on.
listen.
Let me ask y'all something. Do y'all believe that Fatty's best friend here on YouTube is Ali? And he's a devout Muslim, supposedly. Even though he just had a baby out of wedlock. But anyway, do you not see that the reason why this man from Portugal best friend is Ali, a Muslim, is because they
What's it?
all believe in child brides. They
Who is
believe, listen, the Prophet Muhammad married his next wife Aisha, and she was 6 years old. And it's in the book that they played with dolls on their honeymoon night. He played with baby dolls with this little girl on his honeymoon. This is why I tell y'all about stop believing that some people are good.
So you mean to tell me the tactics that pedos use came from the Koran? That what you
Yes,
telling me? Cause them is pedo tactics. It came out the good old book called the Koran.
yes,
Oh
yes,
Lord, they were
ma'am.
teaching pedo
Oh yeah.
practices.
They at the time they didn't have that word pedo, right? But my thing is, when you study that religion, you know that that's the goal of these men. And it is not as just at young as 6. They have people who want to marry a 3-year-old.
What men are you talking about? 'Cause you're making a blanket statement about what men.
Pedophiles. Nigga, I'm talking about pedophiles.
Oh, okay. Because everybody ain't no pedophile.
Pedophiles. That's
Yeah,
that's what
obviously
the
they
fuck
would
we
be a
talking about. We
pedophile,
talking
but
about
like,
pedophilia. You don't
but
know?
who?
The subject of today was Jay Prince's video. And his let me play it. Let me find it and let me play it. Hold on. Y'all go ahead and talk. Because this is you jump on and you don't know what the subject is.
No, I don't know what context you're coming at it from because it just sounds like y'all hate men, and that's cool. I just was entertained by it.
We hate
Dick and
men.
Dave, yo, nigga, you been over here before. You know we don't hate no damn men. You let me play my boy right here. Listen,
Mill, I'm gonna pop back in. I got to
okay,
drop
go
down for
ahead,
a bit,
pop
but I'm
back in.
listening.
But I gotta play
Okay.
this song just because this song popped up. And go ahead, Koja. But I got listen. I done seen this song and I can't pass this song by. Damn, why you do this to me? Damn, this is my song right here, y'all. No ordinary words. This ain't no ordinary song. Yeah. The gospel is greater than the ordinary. So I'ma give them all I have invincible. Y'all, I couldn't pass his ass up. That damn Kalante Gavin. That's my favorite gospel. I mean gospel. But Deacon, you gonna stop this shit. Acting like you don't know.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I think people will say something and then try to justify it by downing something else. I don't know. I mean, I really didn't know where you was coming from. So what happened on Jay Prince?
Um, he was basically confirming that when he can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't
I
know
guess
if I
some people
sound
are the
good.
one that see interest in little girls. That's how they're gonna view that shit. Especially when you got little girls. Now he keeps saying, Fatty was asking me, where's the proof that I touched somebody? Where's the proof of porn? You know I ain't never said that. And shout out to World Class for catching him when he was trying to make that argument. Shout out to World Class for checking him, getting them straight together. Because a lot of these other motherfuckers, they just fucked with Fatty. And I'm not saying you can't fuck with the nigga. But we ain't finna just cause you fuck with a motherfucker, that don't mean they off the hook. Ricky and them saying we're gonna get into Ricky. So supposedly this motherfucker was joking about fucking a 12-year-old. Ain't no joke on it. He didn't look like he was joking. What it was, he was caught up in Portugal mindset. In Portugal, let's do some unpacking. Let's do some unpacking. What is in The age of consent, the age of sexual consent in Portugal, in principle, 14 years of age.
So
This is, now, keep in mind, let's play the video.
yeah,
Keep in mind, this is
14
the same motherfucker that's supposedly joking. Also, in Aaron O's show, and like he said on this show, if the law was 15 years old, it wouldn't be a problem, right? Let's go back to the video, what he said. This is what this nigga saying out, this grown motherfucker, and they try to give him an excuse saying he just a jokester. Comedians tell the truth in their jokes all damn day. Comedians tell the truth in their jokes all damn day. Let's go. Let's unpack it. Come on.
Yeah, the legal age of consent was 12. Yes, it was. It is 12 years. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so young. Yo, listen,
So they asked him, so Fatty, are you saying if the legal age in your country was 12, would you sleep with a 12-year-old? He said, absolutely. Like, not even thinking about this shit. Absolutely. So I don't know. I mean, who is responsible for that? You know, this shit came up because Fatty was trying to hold Daryl Long accountable. Holding Daryl Long accountable brought this whole subject up again. Now, Fatty Ben said this was a joke. He was joking when he said this shit. However, trying to hold Daryl Long accountable, Lucky Marie came up there to check Sharon, right? But this is the sick part. Y'all, you, Lucky Marie, and Robbie, y'all want to hold Daryl Long accountable for saying something about calling your son the R word, which I think is not good. But these men, and how many millions women say that they have been raped before the age of 12. You stand by these niggas, Robbie, Lucky Marie. Y'all stand by motherfuckers who make jokes about this shit. So where's your accountability? Whose responsibility is it that you motherfuckers get to stand by these men who make the jokes about R-wording women or raping young girls or sleeping with young girls? Listen, I have a 13-year-old son. My daughter has been 12 years old. These children are immature as a motherfucker at these ages. They might be big. Just because they're big or tall, don't make them mature. And you women who claim that you're mothers, you're claiming on your motherhood that somebody just merely saying a R word is so horrible. Calling your child the R word, which I don't think is cute at all. I would not advise anybody because, hey, that's a derogatory word like calling somebody a nigga. But when somebody is saying that they willingly will fuck your fucking child, I think it's 100 times worse. I know it's 100 times worse. You know how I know? Because you got women that's in their 80s still crying about shit that happened to them when they was 5. Shit that happened to them when they was 7. You got grown men that's been raped by other men when they were children. And that's one thing I noticed on YouTube. Anytime it's talking about SAN, y'all only want to talk about this shit from the little girl perspective. I don't have numbers and stats and all that shit. But in my fucking heart, if you doing that shit to a 5 or 6-year-old little girl, nigga, you equally doing it to a little boy. I don't differentiate. That if you can do it to a 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old girl, you doing it to a little boy as well. They're all fucking children. They're all children. And that's what y'all don't want to face. Y'all don't want to fucking face.
Y'all had a conversation say that y'all will fuck the 12-year-old. And you did say you prefer your 12-year-old daughter with a 28-year-old man. We had a big conversation about that in the back. You don't remember that? Hey.
Now, he said you will prefer your 12-year-old daughter with a 28-year-old man. But it gets even better. It gets not even better. It gets even worse. I have a clip, y'all, that I played because I did a show on this shit from Fight Club. When Jay Prince was exposing this shit. There is a woman singing over these men. Singing over Jay Prince trying to expose Fatty and Ali. Do you know the name of that woman? I do. She didn't even want Jay Prince bringing this shit up. Oh, yeah, Pastor, nigga. Jay Prince said, Fatty said, Jay Prince actually on a video that I have saved says that Fatty was trying to convince him that when his daughter Kendra turned 12 to basically sell her to a 30-year-old man. I have that video saved. I'm going to play it. But let's get back to this.
You said you have your 12-year-old. You said you had a 12-year-old daughter. You asked me. No, you asked me. Which I want to have. You have your 12-year-old. You said you had a 12-year-old daughter. You asked me. Who asked me? No, you asked me. Which I want to have. Somebody by my daughter's age or somebody that's 28, nigga.
Okay. Okay, now, right? So he said that, right? Now, see, I don't know what happened, why this stuff got worked up. 12 years old is no different from 14 years old, right? So, if this motherfucker live in an environment, like he said on Aaron O's show, if you are in that environment, you won't see nothing wrong with it. He kept trying to convince me of that. He kept trying to convince me that on Aaron O's show and in the back. We had a literally deep back and forth heavy conversation about this in the back. Right? And Fatty also admitted this. He said, I said I have sex. I won't have sex with a 12-year-old, but I will marry. Eventually he started saying, I said I will marry a 12-year-old. It was on I think it was on somebody's show, Fight Club or whatever. Right? So little bits and pieces of the conversation we had coming out. He said, I won't have sex. I didn't never say I want to have sex with no 12-year-old. I said that I will marry a 12-year-old. I said, well, Fatty, don't marry come in with having sex. Me and somebody else asked him that. I said, don't that comes with having sex? And this is why, a lot. See, I had to let it go. But you ain't finna sit up here and make it seem like what the conversation that we had. Now you got all these people that fuck with you, and I ain't trying to stop it. But just because they fuck with you, you cannot tell me. They can't come on this bitch and tell me that I'm lying. You know the fuck you said. You know the fuck you said. You saying it now, really. You kept trying to make it known. If the law was 12 years old, you would fuck the girl. You wouldn't see a problem with it. Well, Fatty, let's unpack that again. For those of you just coming in. He said, now, Fatty know everything about America. How come Fatty don't know this about his own country?
So, Deacon Dad, what you got to say about that? Are you?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. I think it's really crazy. And even though he's not American, yeah, it says a lot about the mentality of probably the guys there. But he's not American. I'm American.
He is not American. However, there's a lot of men here in America. Why do you think? Oh my God! Listen, I don't know if I would say this. I don't want to say this in a bad way, but maybe I just was lucky enough that I was a tattletale, right? I was known as a tattletale snitch, and this is why I advocate for young girls to always be a tattletale and tell everything. And the reason for it was I always was ostracized because I was a tattletale. They were like, she a snitch, she a tattletale. Maybe that's why I never was touched as a kid, because they knew, nigga, I'm going to tell it. Right? I was very
Right.
close with my father, and I was going to tell my father. Yeah, that nigga was a crazy African. So,
That's also another advantage. You had your father. A lot of people don't have their father.
no. Because let me tell you, I had cousins who had fathers. And as adults, they started telling me shit that happened to them. And I just couldn't understand. And then when I went off to college, I had friends who told me all this shit. Even in elementary school, as young as 12, I had a friend who was telling me horrible shit. And all throughout my life, I wonder, how did it fucking skip me? I'm gonna be honest. And it skipped me, and I'm glad it did. But it doesn't make me feel better than a woman who it didn't skip, right? It doesn't make me feel, because it's too many of my friends. It's my mother-in-law. It's my aunts. It's my aunts-in-laws. It's too many of these damn people who just brush it off like, yeah, I used to get molested from 5 to 10 or 5 to 12, but when my period started, that's when he stopped. And they would tell you this shit like, yeah, but I just never said nothing, because back then, if you said something, they looked at you as being fast or you wanted it. The men played on the girls, knowing that if the girl said something, she would be looked at as a hoe or fast. They played on that shit. That, listen, me knowing I'm a tattletale, I'm gonna tell it. Maybe that was my saving grace. I don't know what was my saving grace, honestly.
maybe, just maybe, that your
Because
story
I
is
was
the
in
same as a lot of their
circles.
stories.
Wait, hold on. I was in a circle of family, of cousins that this shit happened to, and it skipped me. And I always wonder, I mean, he was such a nice guy to me. He was such a good person to me. And then you get grown, and so many of your cousins tell you some shit, and you go, that's impossible. That can't be real because he's so good to me. But it wasn't one or two cousins, it's like 8 of them. How you gonna dispute what all of these people saying happened to them as a child? You can't.
Yeah, you can't. You can't.
And we were all children, but how many adults knew about it? Who knew about it and kept this shit a secret? And
Yeah,
also,
I'm grateful that that never happened. Like, yeah,
yeah,
I, I,
I don't have that, but I do have the not remorse, but I do have a feeling like I thought this human being was a great person. And then to find out this shit happened to all of y'all, and I'm right with him, it skipped us. It skipped me and one of my sisters, but it also hit one of my sisters. So this shit was it's crazy how these motherfuckers pedophiles think. They get the motherfucker who the quietest one. And one of my sisters was the quietest one, was shy, was always secretive. And that shit hit her. I'm telling you, these motherfuckers look at girls and children, not just girls, because he also did it to boys. This motherfucker look at children as fucking prey. And they seek out the ones that's quiet. And let me tell you something. If you ever hear of a man who doing some shit to a fucking child from 3 to 12, you are looking at a motherfucker. They put it on girls. But that same motherfucker did it to boys too. That is the little known secret. That is what they want to hide. And that is how men don't fight for girls and women. They don't fight for girls and women because they always say, oh, he did this to girls. But guess what? That same motherfucker also did it to boys. But it's just a secret. Because those boys, you can't expose it because it's sick that it's tied into their fucking manhood. And they don't want it out. Right? So that is the fucking little known secret. You keep saying all these girls get touched. And when every woman you hear get touched before the age of 12, believe me, in most girls who've lived this life, who know these stories from young, we know that he touched fucking boys with it.
mm,
We know. We
mm.
know. But you don't want to say that because
There's a gay implication, and plus the damage that it does to the boys.
yeah, and if even if he's not, it can be implemented, and you don't want to put that on the child. You get what I'm saying? You don't want
Yeah,
to put
yeah.
that shit on the child.
Hey, maybe I'm not the best one for this conversation because I've never like experienced that or been around folk that went through that. I have seen some people who were mentally messed up young, for whatever the case may be. But I am aware that it does happen. But at the rate that it happens, I think sometimes the numbers could be exaggerated. But I don't want to make light of anybody's experience.
Yeah, and look what Pastor said. He said Glendon said pick 'em with no dad. And then
Yeah,
it's a
see, that's predatory. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard of that. I'm not familiar with it, but that is a predatory behavior.
yeah. But when they talk to this guy Jay Prince, they always try to make
I'm
it
gonna
seem
play the video right quick.
like he's so slow.
Nah, Jay Prince is not slow,
I'm
not
about
by
to play it.
far.
But they
I want to
play
stop
like he's
hopping on
slow.
people's shows too.
That nigga know. That nigga know. Cause he done been through shit. He's seen stuff, but they want to play like he don't know nothing. Now, being able to pronounce words correctly, or certain things, but that don't mean you're slow, right?
Right.
That just means your education has had hit a boundary, right? But that don't mean you can't think. And that's where I have a problem with people, where you have to have the perfect speech, you have to have the perfect pronunciation of every word.
Nah,
Right?
now hold on. I do like how you put that. That your education hit a boundary. It's called arrested development, even mentally. You know, but you don't have to be able to enunciate everything just to make sound like you make sense.
Yeah. And I tell people this. Um, I'm a fan of education. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of educated people and education. However, every word you say to me, as long as I can get your meaning, the meanings behind what your thought is, I'm good. Someone else might can't understand your meaning behind your words, right? But
Right.
then I would just ask you questions to see what you actually thought, what your actual thought process was. But to sit up here and play like people are dumb, I hate that shit. I hate
Right.
it.
Yeah. This J Press is not dumb.
Because he's actually not. He's very clever and he picks up on shit. And the way he speaks, people play like he's dumb. The nigga
That's
ain't dumb at all.
I think that's his game, to draw you in, to try to challenge him because he doesn't sound like he knows what he's talking about. But then he hits you in the gut with some real shit.
Yeah, because let me tell you something. When I get home to New Orleans and you hear me talk to my siblings, you wouldn't understand us a lot, right? Because
Yeah, because
we
y'all
have
deep south.
a certain patois, right? And our
Yeah,
words are
south.
broken up more. So when I'm really too comfortable, sometimes it even comes out online, right? If I get too comfortable. But it doesn't mean I don't think or know what the hell I'm talking about either.
Well, I just don't care for when people do that on purpose. Like, I know you're not.
No, you full of shit. I'm gonna tell you because you say you don't know
Oh,
the
here we
numbers
go.
and you think they over exaggerated. You think they over exaggerated because you don't want to address the truth. So before having a proof, you'll say, "I think it's over exaggerated." You're part of the problem because you are a person who excuses and looks for reason to disbelieve something instead of believing the examples that have happened. I just sat up here and named about 3 situations of that
Mhm.
mule just set up here. And I guarantee you, you could go and probe any audience you in and ask, and they will give you the anecdotal of that. They will give you, and so you don't trust the stat numbers. You don't trust the number of cases that was prosecuted and have actual proof. And we know it's underreported, but you'll sit here and excuse some shit. But you have the
No,
audacity
I think
to
my issue is when I
contaminate.
came
You
up
have
here.
the audacity to contaminate the look of the church by putting deacon on your name. Now, I don't know you from shit. I don't know if you're a real deacon or you just playing with it like pastor play with it. But you are not a good representative if you are in the church. I do or do not know.
Well, this the thing. I didn't
You
come
are
up
the
here.
men. No, no, no. You are the
I
men
did
that don't
not come up
stand up.
here to
You
try to
are. I
deny
don't.
what you
Yes,
were
you
saying.
did.
I
Yes,
just
you
think I
did.
came up here
But
because
you didn't.
it
It
was
don't matter
more
if you
about
try to
what you
do it. It doesn't
extrapolated the
matter
point for
if.
all men.
It don't matter if you
Let me
try to
stand
do it,
up
but
on
you
that.
did it. It
Well,
don't matter
she
if you
like
try
to
to hit me
overtalk
and out
people.
my
That's
head.
crazy.
My issue
But
is like
I'm
pussy
addressing your
ass
point
niggas
with your low IQ
who
ass.
will sit up there and shout at
It
you.
I
don't
think
matter if
that
you hit me in
I came up here because
my
you tried
head
to
still bust
extrapolate the point
open.
to all men.
No, you came up here to pacify bullshit.
And that's
Actually, I
what it
didn't
is.
even know what the
When I get
subject was.
YouTube ass niggas, they want to
I heard
pussy
you talking like all men are
And that make
predatory
you
and
extra dumb.
pedophiles.
That make you extra dumb. That make you extra dumb for coming here speaking on some shit you don't know what the fucking subject is.
She invited me
why the
up.
fuck we gotta talk about that motherfucker? You bitch ass niggas are the reason why we have to talk about her. Cause she talking about you niggas. She talking about you niggas being a threat to them kids and shit. And that's why you bitch ass niggas create a problem. I'm glad you're willing to say something about it, JP. But it's coming to a point where, bruh, it's gonna hurt you at some point if you keep talking about these bitch ass niggas. Because I'm telling you, it's more of them than it is of us. It's more of these niggas that don't give a fuck about nobody kids than it is the niggas might cost you, nigga, because there's so many weak ass bitch made niggas out here that don't want to say shit.
Now that is what is responsibility. Listen, Taj just told Jay Prince, you on a real mission right now, nigga. Because it's more of them out here than it is of us. And it's gonna cost you. Because it's gonna cost you because I'm not trying to put you in that number, Deacon Dave, but it's a lot of men who excuse this shit. It's a lot of men until or unless it hits their children, they don't give a fuck about other people's children. Let's just say what it is.
I believe Deacon Dave is the cover because he can't be this fucking dumb. He can't be dumb enough to come up on a panel and make fun of some shit and try to lead the conversation away from some shit by making it a mockery. So he is one of the ones. I believe he is right down with it because we'll see you and what your misdirection on the topic that's very big. So you are one of the covert. You are a covert one.
Whenever you finish, let me know.
You are a covert one.
I came up here because you was extrapolating your point to all men, saying they were predatory.
You didn't even know the fucking subject, you dumbass. I don't speak on shit I don't know about. I don't speak on shit I know about. You should have came up here and read the fucking room and listen. And if your dumb ass can't read the fucking title to see what's in it, I feel sorry for you and anybody church you in.
That's what she asked me to do. She can't ask me to come up here.
But you also supposed to be able to read the fucking thumbnail. Read the fucking thumbnail.
Okay,
and you didn't read the fucking thumbnail.
Whose responsibility is it? Is it the pedophile's responsibility or is it the men who know about the pedophile? Listen, my thing is, how is it that on YouTube, guys can get away with saying so much pedo shit and laugh it off as a joke that they want a 12-year-old virgin and this then
I don't know these men.
And you men think, oh, but he's still cool. Oh, he's still cool. How is that possible? And if it's not 12, what about 5? What about 6? What about 8? What about 9? You see, that number is going to keep getting lower, right? They're going to go from 12 to 9 to whatever, right? What about that, Deacon Dave?
I don't know these men. That's not a behavior that I practice.
Okay, so it's not, but so you don't know. Oh, you have no clue.
No, I don't know who the men are.
Like that, right? Oh, okay.
I don't know who they are.
You don't know who they are. You've never heard of it. This is all brand new to you.
I try to practice healthy.
Let me give you a word for let me give you a word for your vocabulary. It's called plausible deniability. And that is what you're exercising up here. So he want to say that he don't know, which you cannot live in America and not know. But you want to have plausible deniability and you want to make a mockery of some shit so it don't look like you the covert pedo whisperer. And the one who's excuses the shit and probably sideways engage in it too. I wouldn't doubt it. Or too scared to engage in it because of the law. But you didn't. You want plausible fucking deniability. And let me tell you something. I wanted to add this too. If you confuse accent and enunciation with intellect, you too motherfucking dumb to have a goddamn conversation.
I think if it's brought to me, I could judge it accordingly. If I don't come across it, it's not something
dumb judgment is dumb judgment is still judgment.
Well, I don't even understand how you put that on me. But go off, do your thing.
It's quite obvious you don't understand a lot of shit and you playing dumb and you playing blonde. But you go ahead and claim dumbness. Either you that fucking dumb or you are the pedo whisperer.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I'm not talking to damn you and ain't but one other person on this planet. I'm talking to you directly.
See, you cast that aspersion.
I'm gonna put your name on it. I'm talking to you.
Okay.
You Deacon Dave.
I don't even know what that got to do with me.
wing for all this time, since forever. They've been under our wing. So we're really just starting to hear women like Marcella. We're really just starting to hear these type of women stuff. Look at the verbiage and understand that they have been being manipulated. But the thing that you don't understand, Lee.
Sharon, can I ask you a question after?
A dangerous man is a good man. This is the part that you don't understand. So a dangerous man is a good man because that's what you need to run a house.
A dangerous man. A dangerous man. See, Sharon be putting his own fucking foot in his mouth. And I like Sharon. Sharon puts his foot in his own damn mouth. Let me fast forward.
And here's the thing. I'm sorry, but them times is over with. So you don't get to tell no woman that you're a good man. She get to determine if you're good for her or not. And she need to determine that based on facts and not no emotion.
So hold on.
No.
Go ahead.
Do you have any refuting evidence for this UFC round? Do you have any refuting evidence?
You want to pull up some stats? I can.
Wait, did you understand? I didn't say that. I said refuting.
No, I totally understood her point. Like she's saying that it's she literally putting out that it's men out here that's doing all of this crazy shit, and because they're doing that, I can't refute her point. I'm literally agreeing with her point. No. Let me. I'm conceding her point, Venus. I'm conceding her point.
Don't proceed with wrong information. You don't understand. That's why I asked you.
I understand, and I'm conceding her
Don't
point.
understand. You just explained something other than the point, Jacob. I'm trying to give you clarity. That's all I'm trying to do.
What did I understand is different than what she said?
The main point was that you all are in denial about who you truly are. You all consider yourselves good. She just quoted Dale Carnegie, who studied prison, who spoke to the warden of a prison.
And Venus.
Wait.
Hold on.
How bad they are. Had a justification for their own behavior, meaning they do not acknowledge their wrongdoings, meaning they consider themselves good no matter what the fuck they did. So the point was, if people as bad as that can't even see reality and think that they're good, you all are no different.
No, that's not true.
Listen,
Sharon, I don't like him, Sharon. I don't like Sharon.
I like Sharon, but let me just say
I don't.
this here. Okay, but Koja, let me just speak right quick. My thing is, he made a statement about dangerous men are good men. This is what fucked up the black community and didn't fuck up the Italians, the Irish, the Jewish. You know why? They put a hold on these motherfucking badass men. I will tell you this. I lived in New York for 3 months, y'all. 4 months. I got my first scholarship to college, and I was so happy that I got picked at a college in New York, right? It was my dream until November hit. And I never felt that type of cold coming from the South, coming from New Orleans, and we are Peninsula, baby. And when I hit that cold, like in October, November, that shit was, it was disrespectful. And listen, when I finished that semester in December, I had already did all my shit to go back to school in New Orleans for January, for the next semester.
I hear you.
But let me tell you, what I will tell you this, living them few months up north, they have a different mindset up north. Up north, a girl who 18 or 17, they feel like at 17, a girl up there can be with a 30-year-old. Like old ass men flirt with you. Not even dudes your age. Up north, it is weird that old, like, you know, when I was 17, a guy who 30 or 35 is like an old man, right? What the fuck is he doing even trying to flirt with you? But that shit is normal in New York. In the South, a guy would be ashamed. In New Orleans, a guy 35 trying to date you at 17 that shit is a shame. And I'm just trying to tell y'all, stop following all these cult ass motherfucking people. A 17-year-old need to be with a 17-year-old or 18-year-old, or maybe even a 16-year-old or 19-year-old, but not more than that. But this shit here, what we finding on the
Do you know
internet,
Jay-Z, Aaliyah, Foxy, Lil Kim? There was no fame, but it ain't so much better in the South. It's just the South have a way of being southernly charm and covering some shit up. But it ain't really that was their culture. You remember the book Coldest Winter? It was nothing for them to casually convey. That the guy who was working for I don't know what her name was, Winter, dad liked her and he was a whole grown adult. But that was casually conveyed in there, and anybody with a bad eye at it. But that's how casual it was. That it would be there, and nobody really paid attention to it. And Sharon is in the poly community, and poly and pedo go hand in hand in my book. Even if it ain't on the surface, not it eventually leads to that.
you the second person that said that he poly. I only seen his one white wife. Is he poly for real?
That's what was conveyed on account or somewhere where I heard that he's in the poly. Even if he
I
don't
keep
have more than one white right now.
I keep hearing that, but I'm like, what does that mean? Because I only seen his one white wife.
I don't be in that sector that much, and I heard it because BMT used to play with it.
No, I heard
But that was
Taz
when
say that he was poly, and I'm like, I done joined him, subscribe and hit his shit, and I'm like, I never.
and to me that's the dangerous people. The ones who can speak with the proper diction, convey they have attained some layer of financial success. So they speak as an authority on some stuff because they look on surface like they're that. But that's why we have to learn to look below surface. And somebody who speaks like I speak compared to him, they will probably more than likely side with him plus he a man. But that's when you need to stop looking at the veneer. You know how you get them cabinets that's veneer wood and real wood? And we know that shit ain't the same because when that veneer wood get wet, it fucking crumble.
Well, anything that's veneer is just a covering.
And that's
It's
what it
not.
is. It's a covering on these men. They have the veneer of respectability. It's a veneer. But when they talk to you, and these men try to be willfully ignorant. That is a word that we need to put. You are being, and I don't know what obtuse means. I have never used it. I've heard it used. I think I know the context of it, but I'm not going to claim it. But they are willfully ignorant, and they want plausible deniability to say, well, I didn't know. You didn't want to know because you've heard it enough on these panels and things to look. And ain't nobody in, I don't know what Deacon Dave, but we all heard of Malachi, New York. We all heard of the one. We cannot live in this society and have not heard about some of these things. And if you aren't aware of it, you damn sure don't be the leader of any community if you're not aware of what is taking place in society, but you're supposed to lead the people. Get the fuck out of here.
I want to ask Deacon Dave, would you see it okay for your 12-year-old daughter to marry a 28-year-old grown man?
Yeah, there's definitely a problem with that.
Oh wow! So it's just a problem. It's not a hell
No,
no.
it's problematic. No, my answer is no. I'm not okay
Problematic
with
mean I
that.
go to Walmart and I need an 8.5. Why? And they only got an 8.5. That's problematic. This is a little bit more. You see the constant diminishing of the actions. That's how you begin to identify that these people are pacifists. They agree with it and they diminish everything about it. But keep on talking.
I don't know how you pulled all that from what I said, but okay.
because I can think critically and I can put more than one thing together and I can see the big picture. That's how.
I think that my answer was no to a yes or no question. She said, "Do I have a problem with it?" Yes, I have a problem with it.
So
You
what
can
would
you
you
can make it
say?
into more than what I said, or make it into what I
Okay,
didn't
so
say.
what would you say to a 28-year-old guy trying to date your 12-year-old daughter?
Well, I'm not gonna sit up on the panel and try to act all tough and shit, but I'm pretty sure I would do something about it.
Hmm. And that is called selective outrage right there. Because they're girl, I mean, they could be passionate about some Pookie and some Ray Ray, but he can't utter up an inch of passion about this. Go ahead with your selective outrage.
It just seems like you got some personal issues here. I'm not taking this personal because it's not gonna happen.
It's okay, okay, it's okay. I'm this like when they reviewing the video. I'm reviewing you right now. Mule, you still up here, or is your audio gone out? Cause I don't hear anything.
No, 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 no. Listen,
Okay.
let me play this here shit from Monique.
Holcomb. And Corey Holcomb doesn't understand. He's giving me one of the big things in this business. When I hear, well, I'm sorry, he said this bitch played the worst mother in cinematography history. That was what I was supposed to do, Corey. And you wanna. I wanna you paying attention to that. When I hear my comedic brother, Corey Holcomb, say she never had no jokes. Oh, well, the jokes I ain't never had has gotten me a 30-year career. The jokes I've never had got me a late night talk show. The jokes I've never had got me a 5-year sitcom, and I say these things humbly. The jokes I've never had has gotten me the career and resume that I had. So, got you that, bitch. Got you that, bitch. So, I'm not mad at Corey Holcomb because Corey Holcomb, as D.L. Hughley, has done this his whole career. So I understand it. What I will say is disheartening. When I heard Corey Holcomb speak about the deal memo and the contract, and when I heard that brother say, and it's her daddy's contract, this nigga did the contract. Corey, it breaks my heart if you don't have your own standard contract. As a veteran entertainer in this business, it is disheartening that you wouldn't understand the difference between a deal memo and a contract. And yes, the contract comes from our company that our attorney makes sure everything is right legally. So if you're pushing to our babies in the community, that look at this contract, it's the daddy contract, it should be Corey Holcomb, because that way you ensure that your business is being done properly and legally. So when it comes to Corey Holcomb, I don't have no beef and all this switching.
And you know, my thing about Corey Holcomb is just he hates fucking women. He hates fucking women.
He hate that women could get the dick he want without looking crazy. That's what he hate. He jealous. But again, you see men diminishing that woman's accomplishment. No one, I've seen Monique in concert, maybe I want to say 3 times in comedy concert. So who the fuck she gonna say she ain't know? I ain't never seen his ass, but I damn sure went to hers, and she was very nice at the time. I guess she got some shit I don't agree with. But this is men's actions to diminish that woman's accomplishments because she has over exceeded his accomplishments.
So I just want to say this to you, Kosher and Deacon Dave. Thank y'all for joining me. But I want to play this here because this is who I'm about. I want women to know who they are and where the history of womanhood has come from, how far we have come. And this is all women, not a particular race of women.
Girl child, can you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? Deep down, I've always believed in myself and known I'm just as good as anyone else. But lately, I notice that the world treats me differently because I'm a girl. From sunrise to sunset, my sisters and I do chores at home, while my brothers get to do whatever they want. And I see my mother carry the full burden of tending to her.
Now, do y'all think that's okay? Because I grew up in that culture in New Orleans where little girls had to be in their kitchen helping grandma, helping mom, had to be in the house, especially on Saturday mornings, cooking and cleaning while the boys got to watch cartoons. This is what I think make shiftless, hopeless men. Because I don't agree with this, but this is what I grew up in. I grew up in a society of the girls had to learn how to do all kinds of stuff to keep a clean house, a nurturing house. And a boy didn't learn shit. He got to go play.
Yeah,
So,
because
so
they.
just listen.
Who you were before the world
Okay, here it
told you
goes.
who you should be. Deep down, I've always believed in myself and known I'm just as good as anyone else. But lately, I notice that the world treats me differently because I'm a girl. From sunrise to sunset, my sisters and I do chores at home, while my brothers get to do whatever they want. And I see my mother carry the full burden of tending to our family. In church, they don't like.
Hello.
Yeah, you wanted to say something, Coach?
Yeah, because that's the patriarchy they set up. So women will be the fucking slaves of the universe. And while they get to go out and play, they get to go play golf, they go get to play whatever. You home cooking and cleaning to show you's a good woman, Savannah. If I had to make well, I'm not a man, so I wouldn't do that. But they constructed it in a way that women will always be muling while they get to be at relaxation and entertainment. Do you watch Burb and Bougie? Mule,
No,
Mule, you here?
I've never watched it.
Well, she does this thing where she's breaking down how some of these men can't function. And he had this called Chronicles of George. George is like a 50-some-year-old man, and his wife went to the day they tripped. Last daughter went off to college to divorce him. She said she didn't want the house, she didn't want nothing. This man could not iron, he could not take his medicine, he could not do something. Now he carried a job, but anything outside of that he could not do. He ended up in the hospital after his wife left and a diabetic because she managed all that for him, and they could not do basic adulting. And she talks about how men have either weaponized their competence or they have been socialized in a way that they can't do the basic adulting because of what you described going on. That you had to do everything in the house while they never learned that skill set. And so I'm
And
gonna go on mute.
this is what I should stick on YouTube because I'm still emotional, y'all, about my dad passing, right? But I was on Bomb Cherry and I was showing that my dad was teaching my son how to make blueberry muffins from scratch, right? And a guy in the chat was saying, why is he teaching your 12-year-old how to bake? That's for women. You see, what you don't realize is all my sons And my daughter, let me tell you, she done perfected the shit. She make beautiful shit. But even my sons know my great grandmother's recipes. They have them. And it is so crazy to me that men think that boys don't need. It's like me with my newborn grandson, putting my grandchild on my son's 13-year-old lap. Even my 3-year-old grandson wants to hold his baby brother. He's so excited, y'all. They are so happy that the new baby is here, right? And they're boys.
Yeah.
These men in the manosphere would act like that's girl shit. It's not. It's human shit. It's human stuff.
And
So my thing is, these manosphere men want to act like they're so tough, they so this. Listen, my husband is a macho man. But guess what? My husband cries. He be so teary-eyed. Y'all don't know. My husband is so macho, but when we had our kids, I would look at his face, he would be crying. His eyes would be bloodshot red. But if I say, you okay? He'd be like, yeah, I'm fine. And I used to have it. He always was fine. He always held up. But he wasn't one of the men that just saw collapsing. But he always was super happy. And
and that is what we call socialization. When men, that is not a natural response for men not to be empathetic. It is a socialized response from other men to the younger one that this is how you're supposed to act. Because innately, the boys want to hold their siblings or they want to hold the baby. Other men come and shame them for it. And so they respond with the behavior that men have today. That's socialization. That's why I say I don't think that men can't love. I think they're socialized not to. That is a socialization process that we have not committed to paper, but takes place.
no, I agree. I think they're not socialized to love. They're not. Listen, my grandson
And
is my son.
when they are, it is taken away from them, and they're ashamed for it to make sure it comes out of them.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because I'm here to tell you, all they want to do is hold their brother. And we like, oh, Lord, this is dangerous. You know, my 3-year-old grandbaby, he like, that's my brother, that mama. Because they call me mommy. Mommy, that's my. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't hold him by yourself. And I'm really kind of nervous. I'm like, no, I don't want you to try to get him. You know, I don't want you to try to get your brother. You know, because I'm really scared because he 3. You know, he cannot try to on his
What we
own.
used to do is sit them in a chair, like a chair with a good high back, like a recliner, and then
Yeah,
put the
that's
baby
what
in
I
their
did.
arms.
That's what I did today. Today I sat him. He was sitting, and I did put the baby in his arms, and he. Oh my gosh, yo! I did it like 4 or 5 times because he can't get enough of holding his brother, and he talks some, He like in his face like, I love you so much. You my brother. You my brother. Like he talking to him. And it's the cutest shit ever. My daughter did a recording earlier of him. And like he's so excited to talk to his brother and he's holding his brother. We gotta stop it that's only little girls do that shit. You know what I'm saying? We have to
My
stop it.
son, my son was mixing formula, and the baby was in the crib in the room with me, and their room was right next to mine. I could barely get up out the bed before, and I don't sleep with the door open. I sleep with the door open. I ain't had no man. So I slept with the door open. He would be in there before I could hardly get up out the bed, picking her up and trying to give her her bottle.
Listen, when my daughter was born, my second son is only 2 years older than his sister. And that sucker, he loved and worshiped his sister so much. Every time she would cry, he would come run to me and slap me in my face. Now, I had her sleep in a bassinet at the foot of my bed. He was in a whole nother room. He was in his own room. This sucker could, because I kept the doors open so I could hear all the kids, right? Me and my husband kept the door open. But this boy would, if he heard her, eh, he would come and slap me in the face and say, Mama, get up. She calling you. That little boy named Kathy popped me in my mouth tonight. You waking up for my sister. He couldn't get enough of looking at her, talking to her. And
Now, where the
every time
problem
I
comes in,
breastfed her, girl, if I
hmm
breastfed her, because I breastfed all my kids, he would be right on the other titty. And then he would say,
I was on.
she want this one? No, it like he's sucking it, and then he'll stop and say, she she want that one? She want that one?
The problem comes in when they get around their other little friends, and let's say his sister out there playing and whatever, and they'll get around other boys that don't treat girls their age. Like, cause at that age, let's say his sister is 7 and his friends are 9, and boys pick on girls at that age. Now the problem coming in, it's just a scenario when some little boy say something to his sister, and some boys will stand up and say, "Hey, don't talk to my sister that way," and some will cave to the peer pressure of the group that you're supposed to treat girls like that. They got cooties, and that is socialization because that comes from the environment and from the socialization process that they see in their environment.
And see, I think I missed that because I have 3 older brothers, and I think my daughter missed that because she have 3 older brothers. Because so far as having a thing with the guys, and then I I've always been kind of tattletale. I promote the tattletale society. I believe that we should all tell on people. Because that's the only way to really help people. Because see, once you get told on and you get held to accountability, even if you're a child, you can get corrected and then you can stop doing the bad behavior, right? I think people who get away with shit for a long time, just keep getting used to getting away with it, right? But if you get held to accountability, so like I said, I always felt protected, Kosha. I am not a woman who can say that my dad somebody ain't jumping out the window. I'm gonna be honest, even right now today with my husband, I can't say I get into it with a man and he not jumping out the window, right? For me. So I have to behave and act a certain way because I do know I do wield a certain power for me. Now, I have friends and I have YouTube friends who say ain't nobody coming for them. And I tell you then, I'm the bitch that will jump out a window for you. I have listen, I had a friend, her husband was cheating on her with a bitch that we wound up finding out where she lived. I went and flattened all 4 of that nigga tires. This is the truth. This is when I was in my 20s, Kosha. I've always been that friend who was there for a fucking friend. Right? So even women who didn't have men to stand for them, and you thought you couldn't call your brother, me, I wouldn't call my brother, I wouldn't call my dad, I wouldn't call my husband because I'm gonna be honest. My husband, my brother, they're not going flat and tires. They want fight. They gonna want fight or shoot this shit out with you. So I'm not involving them in violence. If it's some
And that's
sneaker shit that need to be done, the mule coming to save you. I'm coming with all the sneaker shit.
And that's the thing that we need in our society. See, there was this one girl, she did a TikTok, and she's like, I'm sorry, basically, I'm throwing some extra here. Basically, I'm sorry you bitches ain't had no man to love you, and da 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 da. I got men in my proximity. You use your proximity to maleness, and you know they wasn't coming, but you knew you had that. And instead of shaming women, because that's one thing I hate. Oh, you're not valuable. You ain't never had the love of a father. And it's like it's a put down,
But
like
what if
it's
they
something.
didn't have it? But hold on.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
wait. What I want to say is, oh well, what if they didn't have it? You mean to
But
tell
it's
me they ain't got no bitches? Cause listen, I'm your girl. I don't understand that shit
but I see
because
you don't
somebody
do that.
listen. I'm not the ultra feminine docile bitch. So you mean to tell me you didn't have no men, but you ain't had no bitches with you? Listen, you didn't
I,
have no
I,
women,
I didn't. I grew up in a house with 5 girls. That's when I hear them saying, boys chores.
but
The
Culture,
only
you didn't have no woman that would fuck
Yeah,
up.
yeah, 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 yeah. But I'm saying no, that wasn't the point. The point was that there are women who have you. If you needed to, you would use your proximity to men to defend another woman if you needed to. But there are women who, and that's what the community is supposed to do. The community is supposed to help each other. But you have women, and it was a whole thing. They gave her a business on TikTok because she said, "I got males in my life. I got a dad. I got a you bitches ain't this." Basically, she might not have said bitches, but it was that kind of thing. And you did not use your proximity to men to say, I'm better than you, I'm more deserving. You knew that if
No,
need
your
be,
ass ain't
them
better.
men,
You ain't better.
but that's what they do.
But
That's what they
that's
do.
not
I had a
Culture. That
father in
don't
my
make you
life.
better. Listen, listen. Let me tell you this here. I grew up. I was jealous of my friends because my mom died when I was 3. All my fucking friends had their moms. Their moms would do their hair so pretty. Their moms would dress them up so pretty. And my dad, listen, my dad would dress. He thought he dressed us up so pretty because, but he would
He
dress us up
did the
in
best he could. He did the best he could.
he
He had a
dressed
loving
us up
heart.
in an African Ethiopian garments, right? So I wore a lot of traditional garments. Listen, I still get shipments
Girl,
from
I know they were giving you
overseas.
the business at school. They were
Koja,
giving you the business at school.
listen, 3 days ago I just got a shipment of material for African clothes, right? So listen, I love my people. I'm not gonna start and say I don't love my people because I love my people from my dad's side. I really appreciate them. I love them so much, right? But what I'm saying is, I grew up jealous of in New Orleans of the girls who had a mom and I didn't, right? So it's the same. I think people who feel like they didn't have a dad feel jealous of the motherfucker who had a dad who and had a mom.
And they do. I had dated a guy that was a single dad. And he dated a lot of freaking women. Let's get this straight. That little boy has so many aunties and stuff. It ain't funny. But his son always liked the nurturing of a mother because his mama wasn't dead. That bitch left the country. The boy paying child support. but he always missed that mothering. So, but they devalue mothering in these like YouTube spaces. But when you don't have one thing, you really do miss it. Whether that's you don't have a mother or a father. And that is a normal human response.
Yeah, exactly. And later on in my childhood, I did get a mom, right? And I always talk and brag about the mom who raised me. But she was part of the bourgeoisie, right? And she still, I love her to death. She's an excellent lady. I never diminish her, right? I never talk bad about her because she's upstanding in the community. Everybody loves her. I love her. Um, but I grew up more tomboyish than probably I should have. I don't know how I did, but so far as killing animals or hunting and fishing and skinning my own animals and doing all this shit, that's the shit I was into. And that's the shit that I made my kids into. Survival skills.
But
How how to make
that is
rabbit stew. Listen, all four of my sons can make you a delicious pot of rabbit. They can skin a deer. They can kill a deer. They know how to kill a buck. I take them, we done went from the south to the north. We go to Illinois twice a year to go shoot, to go hunt buck. So I make sure my kids know how to hunt. Even my 13-year-old, when he was 12 last year. And we're going back in the end of November to to Illinois so he can kill another buck. But he knows he gotta, we've been doing a lot of target practice. So he know how to shoot that, how to kill it, right? And he's gonna have to skin his own animal, cut his own the throat himself this year. These are survival skills. Your kids need to know how to kill animals in a hollow way and pray over them and kill them. And
Charles.
huh?
No, I was speaking to somebody. But
Yeah, and also
those things aren't traditionally male. Because when you go, like, some of these movies,
they're really
historical movies,
not. And that's
the
the thing.
Indian women would be coming and responsible for skinning the animals that would kill the buffaloes and stuff that
But
would kill, then
listen,
hunt.
they're still not traditional male because in Hammond, Louisiana, my nieces and nephews, they make you motherfuckers see. This is what I tell people who don't know about tradition. My niece was a sharpshooter in elementary school. They make you get your hunter's license at 10 years old. In elementary, in public elementary. This is not private school. This is public school. They make you get a hunter's license at 10. You're gonna do all these sharpshooting contests, and then you're gonna do your skinning contest. Then you gotta do your butchering contest. My niece used to always come in second and third place. We threw a whole party one time. She came in second place. So this bullshit, my nephews have traditionally in Hammond, Louisiana, come in first fucking place. We know we're going down there at the end, right before December, to throw for a party that's thrown for them. This is every year. Not the last 2 years, but for like 3 years. I mean, when they were in those age groups, put it like that. When their age groups hit, because I also have a 9-year-old coming in, so we're gonna see how he do this year, but guaranteed by next year because he has older cousins that's helping him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
And those, I don't have that skill set. My sons don't have it. But I think it is important because we don't even know what we finna see going before us. I was just, I'm all in the Euclid streets. You remember when Bill Gates bought up all that farmland? You
well,
heard about it?
I will tell you this, Coach. I'm very I admire you because you have your farmland. I have farmland. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have 7 acres. But this is the truth. I haven't done anything other than get some trees removed. And actually we learned that from YouTube that we could get paid for getting some of that land cleared. But when we went there, they still left the stumps. So we still have to get the stumps removed. So that's another thing we're working on. And like I said, that's part of a 5-year plan. But I do want to get a trailer put on that land, but we don't have anything there, you know. So anyway,
So, but yeah, it's expensive to do. That's why.
it's expensive closure, but what I want to say is it is expensive, but it will get done. But I am so proud of you, my sister. Listen to this.
Girl, you know
What
I'm
I
doing
want
it
you
at
to
my
say.
pocket. I ain't getting no loans. I ain't doing nothing. What I do is get up and go to them people's job. So I don't have to touch I got a little bit of savings, so I don't have to touch it. I get up and go to them people's job. And when I cash the check, I just put it to the side and I hand that man 5 stacks. And when he come back, I hand him another 5 stacks. Yeah,
Wait,
because
listen
they'll
to
say,
this,
oh, you could
Kosher.
do it this
Listen to
way.
this.
My mother carried the full
Go.
burden of tending to our family. In church, they don't like when I ask questions, so I've learned to sit quietly. In the street, I see girls who walk in fear, as mothers warn their daughters not to give men the wrong idea. Everywhere I look,
Why do you think she have to see in the streets that women worry about not giving men? Let me play it again.
always believed in myself and known I'm just as good as anyone else. But lately, I notice that the world treats me differently because I'm a girl. From sunrise to sunset, my sisters and I do chores at home, while my brothers get to do whatever they want. And I see my mother carry the full burden of tending to our family. In church, they don't like when I ask questions, so I've learned to sit quietly. In the street, I see girls who walk in fear, as mothers warn their daughters not to give men the wrong idea. Everywhere I look,
What do you think she means about not giving men the wrong idea?
You know, out of the mouth, what they say, out of the mouths of babes, she just spoke the truth. What I was just talking, actually, parlaying with Deacon Dave. She just spoke that truth because she know a girl child ain't safe in a house full of men, a church full of men, and everything else.
Okay, listen to this.
But they won't hear that.
the world tells me I'm inferior, but this does not feel true. What's going on here? Girl child, you are right to question. Who? Do I know you? I am your mother's mother and her mother's mother. I am the mother of all. Then you must know why the world treats us this way. Please tell me, how did this come to be? Well, it is complicated, and there are many overlapping theories, but we do know that these traditions were man-made long, long ago. It was not always like this. In the beginning, men and women walked side by side together, valued equally as hunters and gatherers. Eventually, we began to settle down, and around this time, we elevated the idea of property and the need to own land and control a workforce. Men became protective of what was theirs, which led to fighting. Sexual violence against women became a weapon of war. Conquerors enslaved women as concubines. Men felt entitled to own and take on many wives, even in times of peace. As their wealth grew, so did the desire to give males an inheritance. Girls came to be seen as property, valued primarily for their sexual purity and ability to have children. They were exchanged between families for a price. Many girls were subjected to traditions aimed at preserving.
Y'all heard that shit? They were exchanged between families for a price. This shit
Yeah.
crazy.
As concubines, men felt entitled to own and take on many wives, even in times of peace. their wealth grew, so did the desire to give males an inheritance. Girls came to be seen as property, valued primarily for their sexual purity and ability to have children. They were exchanged between families for a price. Many girls were subjected to traditions aimed at preserving their purity and family honor. Many are still practiced today. It is this domination that gave birth to all forms of slavery and how women became the world's first.
Listen, many of those practices still stand today. And do you know what the biggest practice is called? Marriage.
What? Yeah,
Marriage.
yeah. Mhm.
Oh, they don't want to say you're my enslaved. You're married. You're my. This is why these men
They
in the
created a
manosphere
system.
don't want to hear you say that you're in a marriage of that's your partner. They don't want you to be on equal footing because that is not what a marriage is. You women who think a marriage does not put you on equal footing. But that's the reason why in my marriage, we are partners. So when you hear manosphere men talk about a marriage was basically another form of slavery for women. Listen,
Sexual violence against women became a weapon of war. Conquerors enslaved women as concubines. Men felt entitled to own and take on many wives, even in times of peace. As their wealth grew, so did the desire to give males an inheritance. Girls came to be seen as property, valued primarily for their sexual purity and ability to have children. They were exchanged between families for a price. Many girls were subjected to traditions aimed at preserving their purity and family honor. Many are still practiced today. It is this domination that gave birth to all forms of slavery and how women became the world's first slaves. It is how
it is this form of domination that gave birth to all forms of slavery. This is the thing that men don't want to fuck. And this is the thing that black men puzzle me with.
You see,
Nigga,
every man.
this is the way black men, black people, black society became enslaved. And then these same niggas is in a black manosphere talking about this is the role of women.
girls came to be seen as property, valued primarily for their sexual purity and ability to have children. They were exchanged between families for a price. Many girls were subjected to traditions aimed at preserving their purity and family honor. Many are still practiced today. It is this domination that gave birth to all forms of slavery and how women became the world's first slaves. It is how patriarchy and the ethic of male honor became the norm. Patriarchy was woven into our civilizations, our laws, economies, philosophies, sciences, and especially our religions. It is everywhere, and it is invisible. It's no accident that we replaced ancient images of
Patriarchy is everywhere and it is invisible. It's invisible.
It ain't invisible. I don't know why them bitches. It's not invisible. It's invisible to those who want to have who has selective amnesia or who don't want to really acknowledge what's going on. It's not invisible, but we have to play into it for it to happen. These men are subjugated in the world by other men. Let's say you're in a tribe and the head fighter say this is what it's going to be. You're not going to go against them cause whatever. So you're going to men get to be dominant in the home when they are subjugated in the world. So every man was guaranteed to be able to come and be a tyrant, a king, or a dictator in their home. And most choose to be tyrants and dictators. But it's because they're subjugated under the rule of other men. They have to have another male boss tell them what to do. They could come and get them and tell them you're gonna go to war. But in their home, right, they get to be a mini king and a mini tyrant or dictator.
No, sister, you're right. But guess what? It only is determined by who they marry. Because if they marry somebody who lineage or their father has some stakes in the world, then you better treat his daughter right. Or he'll have off with your head. Hold on.
God is both male and female, with images of God as a man. But haven't we made progress? Forms of slavery and how women became the world's first slaves. It is how patriarchy and the ethic of male honor became the norm. Patriarchy was woven into our civilizations, our laws, economies, philosophies, sciences, and especially our religions. It is everywhere, and it is invisible. It's no accident that we replaced ancient images of God as both male and female with images of God as a man.
Listen, this is why I want to teach you guys, but I'm scared to teach you. Listen, all these religions that have God the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, a God as a man, where does that
As
man come
opposed
from?
to God, the Father,
Listen,
God the Mother, and God the Child. They replaced it with the Son, the Father, and the which is male.
exactly. All of that shit is false. It's false teachings. And they teach men that you're made in the image of a man. And through your natural naked eye, you know that every man or woman that comes to this earth comes through the what? Womb of a woman. This is why I believe most religions, I will even step out to say all religions that are really on a main scale are homosexual. I'm gonna just be keeping it real. This is why you think Kevin Samuels, the Catholic priest, all of these people feel like it's okay to fuck little boys, right? They feel like it's okay. Kevin Samuels said we don't need women because back in the day, the men will fuck the little boys or the scribes or they'll bring their sons along, right? This is part of the male psychology where they think they don't need women.
Child, when no men was out in the bush and without no women or in the fields with another man and a shepherd, that teen was gonna get somewhere. And if it was a younger boy, that's what they did. But we ain't gonna talk about that. Just like we ain't gonna talk about the pedo that happened with boys.
But we listen, even if we didn't take it to religion, in our prisons, we have men uh SAing men. So what I'm saying is that man is going to find some male or female to release himself into. And it is very disturbing when I hear men or women say, well, women grape too. Let me ask you something. When have you ever heard of a 5'2" woman going to a 5'2" man or 6 foot man or whatever foot man he is, and pushing him down in bushes and saying, "Nigga, I'm raping you." When has that ever happened? When has a woman ever overpowered an adult male and said, "I'm raping you"? It doesn't
They
happen.
don't. They don't. They don't.
But all over YouTube, you hear every time you mention the subject, you hear, "Well, women do it too. Well, women do it too."
When you hear the situation of maybe let's say a teacher
You
or
do
some
hear of
have
it,
done it, but you
especially
don't hear women defending it. You don't hear women coming saying, "Oh, this, that," and that's the difference. We hear it, we don't defend it. These men
exact
defend it, go over the valley, through the woods, and down everywhere to get back to why it was justified for that woman or girl for that to happen to.
exactly. We won't justify that bullshit. We'll be like, lock that hoe up and throw her with a key. You know what I'm saying? This bitch a menace to society. Lock her ass up. But if you said it about a guy, lock the cell up and throw it with a key. Oh, it's so many R. Kelly sympathizers. It's so many sympathizers for men who's
It's
been
her
killed.
mama fault. It's her mama fault. Her mama didn't
He
protect her.
no,
It,
it's
it
his
was it
mama
wasn't
fault.
polite. It was that woman who polite was with. It was her fault that she didn't do it. No matter how much proof you present to them, hey, this
It
lady left her
also
child.
it was his mama fault because his mama. I bet you he was raised by a single woman.
Mhm.
What his mama was single or not, that nigga was gonna do what he was gonna do.
Some type of way, always a way to link it back to the mother or the woman, how it was the woman's fault. Hell, even blame the sister. The sister didn't put, you know, and women don't do that. But they'll try to get on these panels and overtalk
Hmm.
us because they know when you slow it down, like on Daryl Long Channel, you slow it down and you're able to have the conversation, you debunk everything they saying piece by piece. And that's kind of what I was doing with Deacon Day. I was, no, I'm going to do this to you in real time. So you're not going to get the clips of da 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 da. We're going to do this in real time.
But what do you think about a woman whose child was told that they were retarded, and she is comparing women and men, saying her child was the R word, retarded, but she's making it seem bigger than these men who want to sleep with young kids. Listen, just because your child was called this, and that's really sad. I find that deprecable, right? But what I find even more egregious is that you stood with fucking men who say they want to fuck 12-year-olds if it was legal. I find it even worse that you want to stand with men, grown adult 30-year-old and plus men who want to be with 12-year-old. And then you want people to fight on your side. That shit is crazy. You need to be responsible. If this is what you're sitting up here standing on, I look at all of YouTube honestly as uh funny shit, comedy shit. I don't take a lot of this shit serious. But when you want to get serious and say we should not like or stand by somebody who said the R word or called your child retarded, right? The R word. I also want you to know that you are sitting up here begging people to stand with you who also said that they would fuck 12-year-old girls.
I'm standing down on this here because I took a side in the Nala and woman sphere thing, and I learned that people aren't always truthful. You don't know everything that happened behind the scenes and stuff.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah. No, I'm just saying. I'm after coming to that revelation because when she said she gave that lady $10,000, I did not know she get. I took her at her. You say you. If I say I gave you $10,000, I gave you $10,000. I didn't get that man no 5 stacks on several different occasions. I gave him 10 grand. So I learned that I don't. I try not to have to take a stance because so many times all the stuff that happened behind the scenes, I don't know, and I be done acted on the wrong side. But I
no.
probably said some deplorable stuff on these panels in the heat of an argument, but nothing like I was screw a kid.
Yeah,
I
I
might
was.
have even said fuck them kids every now and then, just being sarcastic. Just being
No, you're
sarcastic.
right. But I'm saying, don't sit up here and act like you're the moral police now. Because if somebody still likes somebody, but you still like a motherfucker who say they'll fuck a 12-year-old little kid. Listen, I have a 13-year-old son, and I love my son. But when I will tell you this, he's not a grown up. He is immature like a motherfucker. He's a regular 13-year-old kid. He's a child. And no, he's nowhere near an adult. And when my daughter was 12 or 13, she was nowhere near an adult. This shit crazy to me. That these people think it's normal to say you will fuck a little kid. And yes, a 13-year-old is a little kid. And I'm just leaving it
I
right there.
think Fatty is not in the heat of the argument. I'm just going to the level. I don't think he is that. I think he actually means what he said. Now, some of this other stuff, I feel like we get caught up in YouTube arguments, and we might, we might even use the F word or the P word because you getting in the heat of the argument, and you were trying to cut them back to that. But I think what Fatty said is exemplary of who he is because I think I've heard them say he's mentioned that before or something related to that other space at other times. It's not a first time him saying it. This ain't him getting caught up in the heat of an argument. Yeah, I get pedo vibes from him. So, yeah, so just I'm gonna let them fight it out.
No,
And I'm gonna listen to because when I listen to some of the content, I listen to some of the content. For the content, I ain't gonna diminish when you talking about the stats and stuff because I still listen to some of that yelling ass Chad stuff when he ain't yelling and talking about that. But I'm not going, I'm gonna go where I hear information is good. Information is good. The factual information, not the subjective information. And I'm gonna be okay. And I'm not gonna stop going or listening to somebody. I'm gonna say if a dog tell you something is right, you better listen. So the factual part of that, but I'm not gonna get into the personal. I learned from the woman's sphere Nyla thing, not to get caught up in it. You still here? Is you cutting out? Cause I can't hear you if you're saying something. And I'm gonna go and check out that stream what you're talking about if it's still up, cause I didn't get that opportunity to hear it. Cause
what
I get
stream?
no people. The one you were saying, the panel when he was saying yes he would screw a 12-year-old. I didn't see that, but it was a recent one on Jay
No,
Prince channel.
yeah, it's on Jay Prince. It's the very last stream he just did today, I think.
I'll
Like
go
I
and
said,
try to.
I've been in and out because I just had a grandbaby and I've been working, then I've been home.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Girl, they're gonna be shaming you for being a grandmother. Girl, the lady just shamed me
My
for being a
third
grandma.
one, baby, my third one, yeah. Grandma of three.
Girl, I ain't never understood that age shaming. Cause the only cure for not going on is death. But evidently, I
Exactly.
still be.
I ain't dead, nigga. I ain't dead.
They age shaming, they grandma shaming, and all of that. So, yeah, I'd rather be a grandma than be dead. So, shame me. But congratulations. Now, how many grandchildren? You say you got three?
Girl, this is my third one, but guess what?
What?
Oh my God, he's so precious, y'all.
Hmm.
He is so, each one be different, but he's so precious, y'all. He's so beautiful. He's so, and look, he was angry, girl. He already got an attitude.
I don't
He
care what
already
nobody
got an
say. The baby
attitude.
magic, the baby magic was the best smelling baby lotion. I like the baby magic in the pink. And you know, some like the Johnson and Johnson. I like the baby, which we own
I'm
when we talking about
I'm
that.
Johnson and Johnson, okay? I'm Johnson
Oh,
and Johnson.
oh, no, you ain't, bitch. No, you is
I'm
not.
Johnson.
Hi.
Listen.
You just a gutter ass bitch. You like Johnson and Johnson. You think you bougie.
My baby putting on Johnson and Johnson all over him.
Mm-mm,
That
girl.
Vaseline, you heard me? Don't put no petroleum jelly. Put some Vaseline.
You think you bougie. You think
We
you rich.
bougie over here.
You think you better than everybody.
I do. I really do, girl. I buy
But
the
you know
name
that
brand.
thing was one thing or the other. And if you gave baby magic to somebody Johnson and Johnson, they like, that bitch gave me that cheap shit. I'm
I ain't
just
gonna
saying, you
lie.
know how we be.
I ain't gonna lie to you. My 13-year-old girl, I make sure he can keep the magic. I like the I like that Johnson and Johnson do. I really do.
Um, I had, when we were growing up, we was, oh no, my mama was not enough money to get help. So we couldn't stay right. But we grew up, she was not rich. We didn't get every new shoe that came out. But we always had food, shelter, light bills, cable, water, consistently never. That shit was turned off of that like that. I don't know nothing about that. But we didn't always get to get them things. So when people be saying, da 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 these days, I was like, nah, we ain't always had it like that. But I like even when I got money, I still like the baby magic. So, but I'm gonna tap down you, and I'm gonna holler at you later, okay? I'm
All
listening.
right. I like the baby
All right.
magic for the bigger kids. And to be
Okay, you
honest with
thinking?
you, when
You
you
think
are
you?
3 years old or older, I'm gonna be buying baby magic because I just love that smell. Uh,
You stay away from when you be on that Johnson and Johnson. You think you acting white?
yeah, but when they're real little, I don't know why I want them with Johnson and Johnson, and that might be condition of slavery. I don't know. Shit, I don't know. But what I will say is, when they're real young, I do keep them with the name brands. Now, when they get older, I do switch them from the name brands to because that damn baby magic do smell so good. I'm not gonna lie to
And,
you.
and plus, when they use it themselves, they be so reckless with the squeezing and stuff. They don't even be trying to because you be using it like it's supposed to. They just be wasting.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure, but I do know that once they get bigger, I do. I just like the way it smells. I like
Yeah.
that baby magic smell. It smells so good.
Now, my grandchild living with me now, and
Uh-huh.
I don't have. It's my son's baby mama. The baby mama live with him. They ain't together. It's just she was struggling. But I'm not gonna lie. She has been a help to me, and I have been a help to her. When I get out there in the yard, she right out there with me. I like, don't talk to me about my son. He ain't doing what he's supposed to do. That's fine. But this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna say we work good together. Her being there, it helps me out, and because when I have to go in and work early and stuff, she's there. So it's a good help system. I don't know how many people would do that, but when women help women, I ain't worried about my son
But
job. But when,
you know what? That's a beautiful thing. Because whenever anybody live with you or you live with anybody, even if it's not them living with you, it's you living with them, it should be a help thing. It should
hmm
be not just for somebody, one person benefit, right? It should be
yeah,
for a family benefit, right? If I'm
yeah,
living with you and I ain't got bills, I need to be making sure I'm making your life a little better.
you contributing something. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I'm
I
contributing.
can't give you no money, but I can contribute in some way.
Exactly.
And,
I might can't give you no money, like you just said, but I can
hmm
give you some help. I can make sure, like for me, when my son get off a school bus, if you just at the corner or looking, waiting for him to get off the bus. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly,
Everything,
exactly.
everything is a plus if you in that mindset. Now, if you a selfish motherfucker, you just take it, right? But you ain't no benefit to nobody. Then, then it's gonna be really a problem because you're not even trying to help people that's helping you. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Then,
yeah, yeah. And
then,
that's
then
you ain't. She ain't sitting up playing PS4. So I don't cook a lot. She cooks. When she buy food, she buy. She don't have to buy stuff, but when she cooks for everybody. So that's a help.
exactly. Now, if you in my house and you cook, but you gonna cook only for you, now that's a problem. That is a fucking problem. And it's not even that
Exactly.
I'm looking for you to feed me, but now that you just cooking for you is a problem. Because if I cook, I'm gonna cook for everybody.
Cause you don't use like electricity, my water, and
That's
stuff. So the least you can
exactly.
do is yeah. And when people understand that, now it's some people who you can't. They'll be coming in there with $1,000 worth of food stamp, living in your house, putting up your bath water, this and that, and then go in there and cook a meal just for them, and look at you funny and argue at you if you ask for a plate.
Exactly. And that's why I say it's not that you expect looking for stuff, but if I'm gonna help you, you will show me the type of person you are while I'm helping you, the type of person, the characteristics that you have will display themselves. You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
if you sitting up here and I'm not asking you for no rent, no money, no nothing, and you get $1,000 in groceries, and you mean to tell me you only gonna feed you or a few people, but you're not gonna look out for everybody who live here? You got to go. You know what I'm saying? You're a fucking problem. Because when I cook and I prepare a meal, I want to make sure I have enough for everybody in this motherfucker. Right?
I hear you. Mhm.
So if I can do that with my cash money and you can't do that with your government benefits, you need to go.
But it's working out really, really well. It does,
Uh-huh.
and I think
And
more
that's what they say. They
women.
always talk about Hispanics. Oh, they can have all these different families of Hispanics living together. You know why? Because they can put money into a fucking pot. If you cannot put money in a pot, or even if just say you had government assistance
Mm-hmm.
and you came to live with me and I don't have that. Okay, once Sister Kosha, that's my sister. And once your shit depleted, now me and my husband just go run and buy all the groceries, right? But when you had your funds, you used them toward the household, toward all of us, right?
Girl, my Spanish friend,
Uh-huh.
she had a two-bedroom small project house. When I tell you her brother, his twins, his wife, and his stepdaughter came to live with her, they didn't miss a beat. She was in school, so they were. Now she could go to school and didn't have to worry about babysitting that night. She would always come to work with meals and stuff, and they didn't stay there forever. But I never, and we cool. She married to a black man. It worked out so good. Now, if it was some stuff going on behind the scenes I didn't know, we talk about her regular man, but we ain't never had no conversation about them not getting along in that house. And I saw, oh, who cooked that? Oh, my brother-in-law, my brother wife, or my sister-in-law, or whatever. Hell, I would eat some too. Cause Mexican like the barbecue more than black people, but they
Listen,
do
exposure.
help.
You not
Mhm.
lying. I live by these people, and when I tell you,
Mhm.
the mama and the daddy bought a house. The kids was grown. The son married a woman and moved her straight into his
You
house,
welcome.
to his
Mhm.
family house. About 5 or 6 years later, they was telling us they was selling their house. I said, why y'all selling your house? They left that house for their son. They moved their other children and them into another house. And guess what? When their house got paid off, they moved back into their son. The son and his wife built a house, a little small, they call a mother-in-law shack in the backyard. And that's where my friend and her husband live now, to this day. They
And
value
everybody
they
contribute.
value family. Because
Mm.
once those 2 houses was paid off, guess what? Them old people said, we don't even need no big house because all our kids are grown. Now they live rent free in their son backyard, and their son gotta pay everything.
I gotta tap down now, right?
Hmm. But go ahead. All right, y'all. This was really an interesting show. It turned from where I wanted it to go, but thank you guys for rocking out with the meal one. Love everybody.